Alright, I'm gonna split the difference on here. Make sure it's lined up with the front there. I'd say that's perfect. Both sides meet right there. I'm gonna mark just a hair inside of this top rail here. Down here, it needs trimmed a hair more. Then you just connect the dots with the straight edge. Do it on both sides, cut it, and she should fit pretty good in there. Same goes for this side. We're gonna mark just on the inside of there. And this side's actually pretty good, so we're gonna go right to that corner there. There you have it. It's got a pretty decent reveal for our carpet. Sweet. Now this is just a mock-up. Still got to do most of the framing. This is the subfloor. It's just going to get screwed down. That piece of plywood's going to sit right on top of those. So I'm using a self-tapping screw that is long enough to go through the wood, but not long enough to penetrate the boat. And I'm doing it right at a V. Just repeat the process. As these are temporarily tacked in, everything's just going to be dry fitted, and then once I get the paint in, I'm going to pressure wash everything again. I won't be scuffing up new paint trying to frame all this in. Let's get the board back in there. Now this doesn't sit flush all the way because I actually need to take jigsaw and cut those out on both sides. Just kind of eyeballing them. It'll fit. I have all sides marked. When you can't find the jigsaw, you have to improvise. Hole's done, she's down all the way, ready for some carpet. Atwood Swivel Ease pedestal base. I'm gonna go middle of the boat, the middle of those two ridges. This gotta be trimmed back down to here, but I'm gonna have one right here. You don't have to have any seats in here at all, but if you wanna add one, you can put it wherever you want. And then I'm gonna have one right about here. What I'm doing is I'm just stretching this out, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna have enough overhang to tuck around and staple on the back. So I'm just squaring it up. All right, we have our carpet cut. We're just overhanging enough that it can wrap around and staple on that back side, but we're gonna add this adhesive. Make sure you get indoor, outdoor adhesive. This is electric stapler, T50 staples, 1/4 inch, and then this is a trowel to spread this. I had to move the boat to the front of the house where I had some shade, because you don't want to put this glue on in 95-degree sunshine. It's gonna make you rush and everything. So what I'm gonna do, I got this laid out. I'm gonna roll this back halfway. This just, you could do the whole thing at once. I am doing it like this. So we're gonna open that guy up, get it spread real thin, lay it back down, do the other side. Now that we've adhered our carpet to the top, we're gonna flip it over, get this stapled up. We're gonna pull this tight and we're gonna put a staple in it, push down real hard. And so now I'll go around the whole edge. All right, guys, a carpet's on. These guys have still got to go, but I wanted to get the carpet done before it gets all rainy and stuff. Man, that looks a lot cleaner. I can't wait for paint. This will be next, what it's gonna look like. My seat pedestals are gonna go right there. and one right there. So what I'm doing is I'm working on the framing to box that out. So your lag bolts have more than just 3/4 inch plywood to go through. I'm just going to toenail screws on both sides. That way these bolts will end up lagging into a 2x4. For all the framing, I'm using the Deckmate 2.5 inch star drive coated screws. And the reason why I like the star drive, it drives better. It doesn't strip out nearly as much as a Phillips. I don't even hardly use a Phillips anymore. I'll use a star head or I'll use a square head. One's gonna go across here. Just help give it extra support. Toenail my screws, make it easier. Make sure I got enough clearance to screw those in. So I might have to go a little closer in, but there's only 6 screws holding this whole thing down. It's pretty solid. It's not going anywhere. It'll still be removable. You'll just take the lag bolts out and a couple screws around the perimeter and the whole thing will come back out. So it's not too difficult to take this back out, to clean it, whatever the circumstance. I had to get another one of these. Almost a full one did that. I figured this and what partial in here would at least do these two, maybe have enough to do a light coat on the back. I cut it to where it overlapped, just like we did back there. Slowly roll this over before leaves get in there. Smooth it all out. Make sure that glue just really gets in them fibers. This stuff will clean up with water pretty well, but you want to do it as soon as you get done. It just makes it easier to clean off. Now I'm going to flip it over and we're going to get the stapler on it. Fold up and staple. Tuck in the corners, stapling them. We trim this down, fold them up, and kind of do that right there. We're going to flip this back over. There's the front panel. Now I'm going to pull this, do the exact same thing. I've been dreading doing this carpet. Might as well just get it done out of the way and I can modify it later. We're going to spread this out. Time to staple again. Hey, you can't be cutting corners on this. Oh wait, yes you can. Snip, snip. All right, last piece is done. Oh man, this is going to look so good. There it is. Now we have back deck to do. I don't have the plywood right now for that. I'm gonna finish up with what I can, then I'll go out and buy another piece of plywood. I should have enough plywood left over to put some floors in the little Sun Dolphin 12-foot John boat. I got just enough carpet to cover this back deck once I grab that piece of plywood. For now, I still gotta do framing and everything. I got a frame underneath there. Man, it's coming along. Paint's supposed to be here next week. Let's get this framing done up here. Show you what I'm gonna do. You see how this is roughly lined up? Nothing's getting put in permanently. I could take a level to it right now, but I don't need to. It's close enough. The trick is to mark a line right there and a line right there and cut them accordingly. They'll fit right in there. And we're exactly right at that line is where I want it to be. Screw all that together, do the same thing on the side. All right, now we're gonna measure 2 from here to there. I measured the length, cut it, it's gonna be upright. So I set it down on there, and then I marked right around where this line is on both sides. Make a line, gonna cut this as clean as I can, and that's gonna be that front lip where that sits on. And now I'll secure this down into this. So just eyeball the line there, eyeball the line there, put it in, get it secured down, solid. Let's put this panel back on here for now, open this side back up. The other half of that board I just used that I zipped in half, gonna go in here. I got it screwed down. I might just throw a piece of plywood in the bottom just to raise things up off the bottom. But let's get this panel back on and she's ready to stand on. I got that done. Went up there, stood on it, very solid. Now I'm gonna go fire up the barbecue. This is about where the front seat will go. And then right here, I'm gonna get one of those recessed foot deals. That way I just cut it out, put it in there, and it still looks nice and clean. And this up front, I'm gonna paint it, but there's so many holes in there from all the stuff that's been on there. So I'm gonna cover this with a piece of diamond plate. Kind of just dress it up a little bit. Just cut this at an angle here. This guy I've cut, it's gonna get secured down to here, and then it's gonna go all the way to the back. And then what I'm gonna do is add a short guy like this attached to the back, but leave an opening for the motor and everything. It's another casting platform. Oopsie, I accidentally did cut corners. I forgot to make my cutout for my outboard. I'm gonna let this cure. I'm gonna cut it out, and then I'll just trim it out. It'll actually look even cleaner. No big deal. I just got a little ahead of myself. Kind of getting to the burnout stage on this, but the framing's done, carpet's done, paint and sealer comes in next week. These seats probably aren't what's gonna go on it. I might use them temporarily, but let me ask you guys, should I go with one or should I go with two? Again, this is just a mock-up. Of course, it would be spaced out. I don't know. To be determined. Leave a comment below and tell me what you think. Tell me, what do you think I should do? What's going to work out best? Beards and Bows out.